First of all, thank you for having me. I'm the managing director and director in all the group companies that are working on these various different projects.
Perfect. Now, and just before I let you go, with the presentation. Could you maybe put it in full screen?
I'm trying to do that.
Which would be the little button right left to the minus and plus of the where you can make it bigger. So down right, you have, yeah, it would be this button exactly.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All yours.
All right, so welcome everybody to Altech Group. I've presented our anode material. We are building our pilot plant and that is all going well. Now, today I want to share the second leg of our group, which is a grid battery for the future, and it's under development in Saxony. So we are talking about a solid state battery. And the first thing we have to do is we talk about the best battery in the market today, which is a lithium-ion battery. But the lithium-ion battery, as you know, is not without challenges. There is a safety concern. There can be thermal runaway, damage, fire, explosion, and it results not only of physical damage and accidents, but failure of separator. And once it goes, it burns. Lithium-ion battery does not need any other item. Everything, oxygen, the organic matter is all inside, and it is impossible to go out if you see the new Taycan or other batteries or battery parks that work. So the great disadvantage is the safety in terms, but also operating temperature. A lithium-ion battery is a bit like a baby. I mean, it works well in a very short temperature range. Actually, it operates between 15 to 35, but a perfect area is like 22 to 26 degrees, which means that if it's very cold, you need to spend energy items to heat it. If it's very cold, if it's very hot, you need to have aircon and manage, and that reduces the efficiency of it. And lithium-ion batteries, of course, degrade. You know lithium-ion batteries from your handphone. You buy it, it works 3 days. After 3 years, you have to charge it twice a day. And this, of course, is also in terms of grid or large operations that reduce the battery life and therewith your returns on this battery if you want to operate it a long period of time. So this is a critical cost item for grid storage, because grid storage is quite expensive with all the auxiliaries and getting it into the system with the inverters and connecting it to the grid. But more so, lithium-ion batteries have seen a large increase. It's another 10, 12, 15% in this year alone, and it's simply because of the increase of all the materials. And lithium is a critical material, and with all the growth, this is not an item that the price is going to go down. New lithium-ion mines are open, but the competition is very large, and it's not happening. The other thing is that obviously cobalt is the only big supplies from the Republic of Congo. It's a very critical item. You see in the European community is very thing. But also, even simple items like graphite, if you look into the market things from Bloomberg, Frost & Sullivan, you can see that the graphite demand is increasing tremendously because there is no anode without graphite. It doesn't matter how you mix it, but 68% of all these materials is come from China. So it's a critical item. And copper as well. Copper you don't only need for the battery, you need it for all the other items as well. So these are all critical items. And we in Altech have signed a joint venture. And the question is that, can we have a battery that is fireproof, has a large temperature range, lives longer than 15 years, doesn't require lithium, doesn't require cobalt, doesn't require graphite, doesn't require copper. Because these are all items that you need for mobility. Mobility is density, but for the grid, there must be another solution, right? We already know that we're using lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries, but that's not good enough, right? So let me introduce Serenergy batteries for this particular market. This battery exists, is ready to use. This was developed by the Fraunhofer Institute in Germany, actually in Dresden, which is the headquarter of all ceramics. It's a proven technology. It's ready to use. You can plug it in and it's ready to use. And we signed this joint venture with the Fraunhofer Institute on 12th September. So this is fresh off the press. All the working teams have started. So we are under construction, building a battery that is not flammable. It just can't burn. There's nothing inside that burns. You can put it in a fire, it won't burn. There's no separator. It is a solid state battery. Today, ready to operate, has a ceramic tube, has no thermal runaway, doesn't have any oxygen, and it's completely safe because it is nothing inside that can burn. It has a large temperature range, -20 to +60. Let's not go into details. It has no degradation because the battery has a solid electrolyte and the carrier item is not lithium ions, it's sodium ion. What is sodium? Sodium is table salt, available everywhere, has huge amount of cycles. We're now above 7,000 cycles, 4,500 cycles is proven. It is very cheap. And there are batteries already in a small scale, like there's a Swiss company that you can test. And you can see on this graph, actually the battery through operations, the permissivity of the solid state becomes better. It becomes better. It doesn't degrade. It doesn't degrade at all, right? So the life is even longer. And there is no lithium inside at all, right? It uses common table salt, sodium, as the carrier item. So I have a battery that consists of ceramic, alumina, and table salt. So what is there? Am I critical? Logistics, market? Nothing. It's lithium free. So we have a battery that doesn't have anything inside. Very minor amount of nickel, but everything else is there. So the battery is environmentally friendly, long living, safe, and can be completely recycled. All these things are ready and ready to use today. So we are bringing this to the market. The chemistry is known for a long time, and the battery has not come to market because before it was always trying that this sodium alumina battery becomes higher density so it can be used in mobility. But that's not the market. This is for high performance in the grid storage. So here you see the lower ones, nickel, manganese, little cadmium, and then the LFP battery is about here, a little lower than that. So that is the market application. It's a proven market application. And what is it used for? First, we go into energy providers, then in industry, and then private consumers. What is the application? We all know power needs to be produced when it's needed. So the energy and change in Europe is not a matter of building more solar plants and windmills. Already there is a large loss. We need the windmills in the North Sea are standing still because the grid can't take it. But in Bavaria, we need the power. So if we have a cheap, solid solution, we can store the power in the North Sea. When the grid is free at night, we send the energy to Bavaria and solves. Later on, I have some numbers for you. This redispatch and everything in Germany last year alone, the loss equivalent of energy was 2.3 billion euro. So that is one where you have it in renewable energy, you need this battery, but also peak shaving. If you look at energy trading, electricity per kilowatt can be as cheap as 1 or 2 cents for online at night when nobody needs it. At peak shaving at lunchtime in Munich or Frankfurt, the kilowatt hour costs €1. the energy provider. So, and you have to stand by because you have this 1 hour and you run the power station 2 hours before, 2 hours later. It's usually expensive. So you can do peak shaving, grid stability, and of course, the biggest one is renewable energy integration. So first are the energy providers. Energy parks, I'm sure you have read it, are built everywhere. And these energy parks are expensive because if you use a lithium-ion battery, you need cooling, you need heating, you need control, you need balancing. Our battery, you just put there. And now it's look in this market. If you look at the latest Frost and Sullivan report, it says from today at 4 billion, it goes to a 20 billion market annually by 2030. That is a huge market. And that is the market where we're going. And that market needs to have a maintenance-free, long-lasting battery that is inexpensive to produce and solid. And this is the market that we're going into. And I have a short video for you to show how this works. If later on we're interested, we're going to go out in the market by mid next year for all the funding. In Germany, you can see, I can show you the battery. This is the ceramic electrolyte. It's filled with sodium, mostly salt, a little bit of nickel. And then when you put the power in, it liquidizes, it forms its own cathode. After that, the discharge, the sodium ions go back, and that's the whole secret. So where is the technology? You can see it here. Once it charges, the sodium ion goes through the ceramic here on the left-hand side. This is the solid electrolyte made out of ceramic. Then it forms the anode. And when it goes back, it dissolves and goes back inside. This is the same picture. The sodium ion go out. This is an actual picture of the battery that you can have a look. And this is the process. Discharging is just using the power, it goes inside. There's no loss, there's no dendrite goes, there's no degradation, there's no lithium plating, nothing of this. It's a solid closed box. Let's go on. And we are now not building a small pilot plant. Pilot plant already built, demonstration plant already built. All this is working. We are building a 60 kilowatt single unit. And it is developed because the technology was in the 80s already. Mercedes-Benz had Zebra batteries. Those cars still drive today. Of course, not very good, but because it hasn't evolved. But for the grid market now, it was 8 years development in Fraunhofer. We have an operating plant in Hermsdorf. Now we are just making commercialization of this product. And we do this as Altech because we are ceramic experts. We have the land, we have the funding, and we are plant builders. And the secret I will tell you later is that I am not a licensee holder. I have a true joint venture with the largest institute in Germany that is 100% government owned. We are in business to build this. So there cannot be any question that we get this plant running. And this is where we're building the plant. We're in Saxony. This is the heartland of all battery. CATL is a little bit to the left at Arnstadt. All the others, BASF is there for the new cathode. We have all the others. Tesvolt is building the new plant there. This is our land, a virgin land. We have everything. It's owned by us. We purchased it. Our pilot plant is being built there for the graphite here, there, and then we have another 14 hectares here where the Serenity battery will be built, and then we will expand later on. So this is our place. We are ready to go, and we have started. We have appointed LIDEC. Maybe to some of you, they have done plants for CATL, for Volkswagen, everything. So this is all ready. So it's a 3-time. We have the project teams. We awarded all the contracts, and we believe that by mid next year, we'll be ready to go. So for example, this is a 10 kilowatt unit. This is staff from the Fraunhofer Institute that show these test works. This is an extruder. This is pre-mixing of materials. So this is all ready to go. This is the extraction of the long cylinder, which is a long 2.7 volt single unit that it goes in. So this is a rack unit for a larger one. This is the small one, all ready to go, working. And we are now putting this into an industrial operation where we will make a cell every 45 seconds and then get out into the market. Let's go on. This is what I have spoken to you before. We have formed an Altech Energy Holdings GmbH in Dresden, which is owned 75% by Altech public listed company in Australia and 25% listed by the Altech Advanced Materials in Germany. And we hold 75% of this sodium alumina solid state battery. That means we are the ultimate owner. There's no future taking back or something. We own this battery technology, and Fraunhofer is a 25% shareholder in this project. And we're building the first 100 megawatt now, and then as quickly as possible, we will go to the gigawatt line. So it will be just 10 parallel lines. We have the land, we have everything ready, but we want to go in with 100 megawatt because it's a reasonable investment. It's a time frame that we can manage. And first of all is you as the investor, as all the clients, they want to know the application, they want to see it. I mean, the smaller scale we can do. So we build this right away, and after that we go up. But again, I'd like to stress, this is not experiment. All the design, all the engineering, all the technology is settled and frozen. We're now just building the plant. And when we have finished the design, detailed design, engineering, then we can complete the DFS. We come to the market and we will tell you. If you remember from last time, I told you about our sodium material that in the first plant already has an NTA of 500 million. So you can imagine what I will present to you in a very short period of time. So this is the story of Altech, and this is the 100 megawatt plant. And we have all this land in the back, and we can build a gigafactory. This is a 1.2 megawatt gigapack. Let's enjoy this picture. Anybody who has seen a battery park, let's say the Tesla mega big pack in North South Wales in Australia, they have a closed operator. Each battery cell has a fan. In a container like this, they will have 640 single fans. They will have 2 units of aircon, 2 units of heaters, control system. This is an open container. I just put it there. You don't need to control, you don't need to maintain, you don't need to repair. You just put it there and forget about it. And that is the major cost of all operating plants, controlling it, fireproof. This thing does not need fireproof. Other parks have firewalls all in. So this is the story. I would like you to follow us. You know the team management already. You can go through, but I also like to stress our board. I don't know if you said, I mean, Nikolaus Graf Lambsdorff is the son of Otto Graf Lambsdorff, a famous German economic minister, a very influential person in the political scene, and our link to the German government and the support. So over and above, we have the financial services with Werner Klatten, but also I'd like to mention our Wilko Stark, who is a former head of the mobility in Mercedes-Benz, and is now also joined our team beside other eligible things. Now you can see here on 12th of September, we signed the agreement, then we marketed, and then we went full out when it was all in force. And you can see we're doing well. We are fully funded for everything that we want to do now. So we will only go for placement by mid next year. In the meantime, who has bought shares already, enjoy the ride. And I'm very happy to be able to present to you and to give you this way forward in our company. And today, what I want to achieve is that keep on watching Altech. That is the story, and I will give you all the rest later. So back to you, Julian. Thank you very much. And I hope I've given a little bit of insight of a battery that is almost sounding too good to be true. And if I didn't have Fraunhofer as a joint venture partner and a working battery, I would agree with you. But come, visit me, see me. Everything is working, everything is proving, and we're building the plan now. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Uwe. That was a great presentation. Again, great progress. We have you here since a few times at the IIF. And I'm extremely interested in the technology you're developing. I think that one of the things that people are forgetting a lot in the battery sphere is that battery technology are evolving extremely fast. What was the norm yesterday is already done. We had a presentation earlier today from another company that says no more cobalt, no more nickel. Now you come and you say no more lithium, and people have difficulty grasping how fast this is in movement, and also how many different lines and parallels of research and development there are. I know for a fact that there are also other companies that are trying to also do ceramic and sodium with something else in it and so on, and they also are achieving it. So this is not just a you story, it's become very much a world story of trying to have the safest battery possible at the lowest cost possible, because obviously if you extract now not just cobalt and lithium and cobalt and nickel, but also lithium from the equation, I guess your product become more than competitive. It can attract a lot of potential customers.
Yes. And I fully agree with you. And there is place for all or many of these batteries, because the applications will become more specialized. Even grid battery will have hybrid batteries that do different things. And there won't be one winner, because let's say, for example, for mobility, density is king. Higher, lighter, stronger, faster, you need a C rate, which is 2, 3. I don't know if the audience really is familiar with C rate. C rate means how fast you can charge and discharge. So if you have a 1 kilowatt battery and you can discharge 1 kilowatt in 1 hour, it means 1. If you can do it in 30 minutes, the C rate is 2. And if you need 2 hours, the C rate is half. So for mobility, you need 2, way above 1. For the grid, you need maybe half, maybe 0.33, and then there is other, like let's say, for example, the LFP battery will have a 0.25. So you have 4 hours to discharge, but there is a market. And LFP batteries, you can see there was success with Freyr, even though they haven't built any. There's a sodium sulfur battery with Japanese, with NGK. It's a very good battery, but the sodium sulfur is maybe C rate of 0.14, 17. So there is a market for all these batteries. And there will be a strong price digression. You will see that mobility batteries have a limit because of the materials used. There are many others. Even Tesla is now delivering Tesla 3 in China with a different type of battery chemistry, which is not that good, not that long lasting, but it is a solution. So I fully agree with you. Is that a threat? No. It is actually wonderful because it's going on, and all these different people. Now we want to build a battery for the European market first in Europe. The market is so huge. And I mean, so how many gigafactories can you build? Everybody can build, we can all sell, and we do something good. We do something for the solution of the green energy or the energy change, because without battery, all this is not going to work. I mean, look, I spent 4 weeks in California in October. If you go around windmill parks, sometimes 30% is thrown away. The energy loss in California alone is more than $3 billion a year because the grid is not strong enough. Sometimes you have the energy, you can't do it. So what's the solution? Solution is battery storage. But lithium-ion batteries in the Californian desert, you need 30% of the power to cool the battery. So our battery is the solution. I dig everywhere you can find table salt, everywhere you can find high purity silica, conform it and make ceramic tubes. So I can build it everywhere. And on top of it, when my battery is finished, you can recycle all. There's no difficult, there's no danger, nothing inside. I don't need to melt, I don't need separation process. I grind the bloody thing up and separate it. And that's it.
You could basically do a salt lamp with it because it is basically salt.
It is.
And this is something that's very funny. So it's one of the most intuitive way of chemistry that we know, which is basically NaCl dissolving in water. This is what's happening. This is the thing that we use on every single day when we put it in the water. And this is exactly what happens in the battery. So it's, to me, it's
right.
very counterintuitive that it is a thing we're the closest to, but it seems the hardest to understand.
Yeah, and the problem was always that people tried to make this battery chemistry into mobility, which is, you won't compete, right? Because you just can't get these rates. But if you have a clear design strategy, and for this market, it's a perfect battery. I'm telling you, it's a perfect battery, because go around to battery operators. I mean, even the Tesla park in North South Wales, 3 containers burned down in 2 years, right? And others. And when these things burn down, you have a problem. And even if you have other ones, you go inside and you change certain battery packs. You have the downtime, you have the maintenance, aircon need to be maintained, heater need to be maintained, all these things. If you and I are operators, I don't want to work. I want to control. I don't want to buy spare parts. I don't want to do this. So this is the solution, because these are the cost, labor. We are estimating that with this battery, you can store a kilowatt hour in operations for maybe 2 cents, maybe 3 cents. That is very cheap. Think of it.
This is extremely cheap.
Yes, think of it. Now,
competitive.
I give you an example. If you go to the European energy trade now on the stock, you can look what dispatch rates are, right? They can really range from 2-3 cents to 72 cents, 74 cents. So that's 70 cents difference. If I can take that cheap power, store it for 3 cents, that's 6 cents, I still have a margin of 64 cents. I mean, how not to make money?
Yes, on top of my head, there's arbitrage possibilities. There's a lot of possibilities out there for sure. And
exactly.
One thing is sure, the primary aspect is both safety. So this is something we saw in cell phones. This is something we saw in cars. This is something now we see in solid state batteries or like packs. And that brings the side cost very, very high. Operation costs cannot be high. It cannot just be passive. So basically just pumping up waters and coming down. At one point, it needs to be a physical storage, microgrid solutions. And just before we wrap up, Uwe, just so everyone is clear on this, your timeline in the next year, basically what I understand is that from about Q2, Q3, so middle of next year, you will be financing decision for the plant. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. And at this moment, you might be raising money, which obviously you're a company that the share price has been doing tremendously well. So there could be possibilities there to be not too dilutive. And are there any other solutions you're looking for?
I believe the share price is going to go up more, and then I will go for placement. I'm not doing it now. Let me ask you one last question. Yeah. If you have the choice, every solar person with solar on the roof, you are giving the electricity away, and when you need it, you have to buy it expensive. So everybody needs a battery. Now, you want to put a battery in your basement that can burn your whole house down, or you want to use my battery, which is impossible to burn. You can kick it, you can freeze it, you can heat it, you can burn it, nothing is going to happen. So that is the answer. Storage in the garage. You know, in the basement garage, they say, yes, it's safe, it doesn't burn more often. But when the bloody thing burns, that's crazy. So that's a solution. and I'll be better and cheaper. So let's see. I have seen you a
Perfect.
few
Well,
times. Next time, invite me. I will tell you how far we are.
perfect. Well, Uwe, thank you very much for the update. Always very interesting
Julian,
story. I like it a
Julian.
lot. We're out of time, sorry.
Yes.
So everyone, that was Uwe Arends on the management board of Altech Advanced Materials. And now we will be moving to the next presenter,
Thank you so much. I'll see you next time, Julian. Thank you so
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
inviting me.